All right, Mr. Briscoe, we're live. It's Stories with Brisco and Bradshaw. You sit there. Have you read any of those books behind you?
Matter of fact, JBL, I got your book, How to Get Rich Now. It's right up here, right next to American Bureaucracy in 1491 and the War on Truth and How to Get Rich Now by John Layfield Bradshaw or John Bradshaw Layfield, whatever the hell. You got so many damn names, I don't know what. Big ass Texan. Right
What is that?
You're next to Thomas Jefferson, autobiography by Thomas Jefferson.
What shirt do you have
I
on?
got my Haggard t-shirt on. Hell, man, I'm ready.
I love Merle Haggard. I got my, look at this shirt I got on.
You know what, man, I love that shirt. One time, Shane McMahon asked me, you know, he knew I was a country music. He said, you like that Merle Haggard? I said, who the hell is Merle Haggard on Merle Street? And he said, yeah, but Haggard. I said, ain't no Merle Haggard. Damn Merle Haggard, you damn Yankee New Yorker.
Hey, one time Shane got me an autographed picture from Merle Haggard. And it said,
Shane McMahon did?
Yeah, I've got it hanging up in my office. He got me a picture from Merle Haggard. He said, for my good friend Shane. Shane's a great guy, Merle Haggard.
Now, where in the hell did he didn't even know who Merle Haggard, he called him Merle.
He had no idea who he was, but he knew that me and you liked Merle Haggard, and because of that, he got me a signed picture from Merle Haggard to put over Shane.
So you owe it to me then, right? Barbara's saying hi, John.
Your wife is a good lady.
I remember the time you went and taught her class. You made her a hero there at her school. Hey, everybody out there, just imagine John Layfield coming into your high school. My wife's about 5 foot tall, and she's a school teacher, economics teacher. So John knows all these numbers. You know, he was going to make me so rich. I was going to be richer than Vince McMahon. We're going to buy Sweden or Greece or one of those countries that were in bankruptcy. JBL and I was going to make it after he made me all this money. We're going to become dictators over there. So anyway, he comes in there, just a 6'6" Texan with big old cowboy hat on like Abraham Lincoln, come walking into her classroom. She had a bunch of football players that thought they were tough boys. And all of a sudden, they see John Layfield walking in there and what, Miss Briscoe, you know, little. And I got to tell you, you showed up for her and told those big-ass football players if they didn't behave, you're going to kick their butts. And she had the perfect class after that.
We had a good time. Your wife's great. She deserves like a whole block in heaven for putting up with you for all these years. I mean, a whole block, not just a house, a block.
I agree with you.
Hey, just think about football players. Big Van Vader, Leon White. You remember the time remember the time he slapped a reporter in Kuwait, you know, during the live interview? But we were on a tour first. You and I were down in South Africa with the WWE, and then you flew up to Kuwait to meet the other crew of the WWE, and that's when you hooked up with Leon White, Van Vader, up in and had the instance with the reporter. But before that, you and I got into a golf cart race in Pretoria, remember? I hit you in the golf cart.
Go-kart, was it go-kart or golf carts?
Some type of go-karts. They were fast.
Yeah, they were fast. Race cars. This damn promoter, remember we were running that outdoor show where Victoria or something like that. Victoria.
Yeah, that's right.
One of those damn shows down there. And he led, was Barry with us too? Barry
Windham was with us, and maybe Dustin. Tony Gurria may have been there too, but only probably if he got in for free.
Yeah, and he gave us all go-karts, and he pointed out, John and I were bragging, hey, we won't go to this. So he pointed us over there to these 2 special go-karts, he said. So John and I were out on the racetrack. You know, it's like I'm driving down I-35 going north across that damn Red River where God's country is from that other place down south of the Red River. We're driving like crazy on I-35 and around these little tracks and down in South Africa. And down there, you drive on the other side of the road. And we had these go-karts, and we were driving on our side of the road because it's just us rascals out there. And all of a sudden, Layfield, my mind starts acting up. Layfield gets ahead. He turns that damn thing around, and comes head on and crashing into me, throws me in all the damn bales of hay, and he takes a bump, and first bump he's ever taken for me, and I take a bump, we're in the hay, and everybody's laughing at us. But that was a ball there that day.
That was a lot of fun. We had a crash 'em up derby with the go-karts. It was so much fun.
The guy was really upset because we tore up all of his damn good go-karts, and Mickey Brett, the tour manager, he said we wanted to pay for them, and Mickey said, "You gave them to him. I didn't tell you to give them to him."
Well, then you end up going up to Saudi Arabia. We end up going home. Most of us that were on that tour went home, but you were the agent, and you were the overseas agent on most of all of the overseas tours. But then you went up to Kuwait, where they had the rest of the WWE crew was up there, and Vader on television with The Undertaker. I've asked Undertaker about it in the past. So apparently the host of Good Morning Kuwait gives them like 10 questions he's going to ask. And the last question was, is it fake? That was the last question. They said they weren't going to ask it. Taker tells Vader, says, "Hey, don't worry about it. This question comes up, I'll answer it." Well, the host decides he asked that question first, and the rest is history. Pretty much David Schultz slapping Stossel all over again in Kuwait. So what happened?
Well, you covered it pretty good, but I'll set the scene. Just the intenseness that was going on at that time. Taker flew with me from South Africa to Kuwait, which was like a 15-hour flight. We flew all damn night and all day, and we landed and we got on a plane or got in a damn car that they had waiting for us and took us straight to the arena. Undertaker sits there, he'd been on this 15-hour flight and worked all week in South Africa, the schedule we had down there. We were exhausted. We get there and I'm doing a roll call, doing the matches, and where's Leon? Oh, Leon didn't come because Leon's not feeling good. I said, what? And I told him, I think it was Dave or Tony Green. I said, you get that Vader on down phone and tell him to get his ass down here right now, or I'm sending him home tonight. And so, he's not feeling good. I said, look over there. I pointed toward Taker. I said, he just got off a 15-hour flight, and that damn Vader's been sitting on his ass for a day waiting for us to get here, and he's sick and he can't come. Well, he got to run, get his ass here. So anyway, long story short, we got him here, and of course we started arguing. Well, I'm sick. I'm a big guy. I'm sick. Wiping sweat off. I've got a fever. I said, Leon, you're all right. I felt of him, and as close as I could get to him without knocking myself over or gagging.
Brisco's prognosis was he was okay.
Hygiene and him weren't in the same vocabulary, I don't believe. But anyway, I got him to work at night, and he was okay. So the next night, we had to set up the deal with the tournament. We had to set up the deal with him and Taker. So the next morning, they're on TV. Our good friend Percy was there managing Vader and Taker. And like you said, Percy told me a little story too. Taker said, hey, the question is, wrestling fake. Well, here's a guy, Vader, who's been all around the damn world. Japan, China, Australia, New Zealand, all over the world. Vader had been all over, competed, probably been asked that question 10,000 times,
Yeah.
And so we went, when we go to these foreign countries, we kind of go, we go over the cultural rules. You can't touch this person, or you can't grab this person, or you gotta stay, social distance from them, basically, and just thank them, and not shake your hands unless they offer their hands. And most of all, you can't lay your hands on one of these people, And so Vader knew all that. Like I said, he's a world traveler, been around the world. So the question just comes, and it was a short interview.
Yeah, it was.
Is wrestling fake? And fake. I'll show you fake. He picks the guy up by his tie, no less. There's this little guy from Kuwait, about 5'2", whatever it was. Heck, he was. And there's this big old Leon White Vader. He slapped the hell out of him. I'll show you what fake is. Like you said, Dave Schultz revisited. And I get a phone call. And it's from the chief of police. We have one of your wrestlers locked up in jail. What? Leon White. Do you know Leon White? Yes, he's over here on wrestling business. Yes, sir, he is. He's with Paul Vader, William Moody. He said, says he's his manager. I tell you what, I know you guys are here. We'll release him if he stays in a hotel. Release him, on his own recognizance or whatever the hell that is. So I said, please do. So we got him released from jail, but now he can't leave the hotel. We're just starting this tour. It's a big tournament. We get paid a lot of money for it, and he's one of the stars, unfortunately. So we get back, and Paul Bear comes to my room, knocks on my door. He's down there in his room. I said, you go get that SOB and get him down here right away. And so he said, well, he's really unhappy. And I said, well, you know what? Tough shit, I'm unhappy too. So Percy went down, said, Leon, you got to come down. And so Leon comes back. He got a towel with him. I called it his crying towel because every other word he's crying. Oh, I'm sorry. And he already knows he's in big ass trouble. I said, okay, Leon, in your words, you tell me what happened. What ticked you off so much? He said, well, I'm upset about last night, the way you treated me last night made me work when I was sick. I said, Leon, we're all exhausted. The guys that flew from South Africa up here, and they went over the whole thing about the hours and everything. And you've been here a day. You guys got here a day ahead of time, was resting, and we flew in. And you're sick from what? From getting drunk last night, what I was told. And so you wrestled, you're okay today, and you were well enough to, why the hell did I said, you've been all over the world, why in the hell did you slap? Well, it pissed me off. And I started laughing at him. I said, what do you mean it pissed you off? He said, well, he should have asked that question. I said, did you know he was going to ask that question? Yes, I did. I said, were you, yes, I said, were you told not to worry about it, that the taker would take that question? Yes, but he had no business asking that question. Said, he's a damn interview. You've been asked that all over the world. You snap. I said, man, good luck. And I said, you got to be the dumbest SOB I've ever met in my life. And that just, it ticked Leon off. He went off the deep end. And he started cussing me out and everything. He said, if you want to fight, I'll fight you. You know, here's 375-pound Vader and their 200-pound Brisco, you know. He's wanting to fight me, and I looked at him. I said, all right. And back then, you know, I was basically international tour manager, director of international tours. So I always got a big room because I always had to have these come to the office meetings, you know. And so I didn't want a little bedroom, so they always got me a big ass suite there. So we're sitting in this big front room there, and I said, let's move these tables around so we don't get charged for them. I got up and started moving. When I started moving the tables, Leon said, well, now we don't have to really fight if you don't want to. I said, Leon, you challenged me. And I said, let's go. If that's going to make you happy, let's move this damn furniture and let's go. He said, well, I know Sambo. And I looked at him, I said, well, I know Paul Orndorff. And I taught him every damn thing he knows. And he said, well, why'd you have to bring that up? Now he's bawling like a baby. And I love Leon, and God rest his soul. You know, and I'm not talking bad about the guy, but, you know, I'm just telling the truth of the story there. So we hashed it out, and he's crying. And so I said, you cannot leave the hotel. You got to stay here. If you step foot out of that hotel for any reason whatsoever, they'll come and lock your ass up and throw you in a jail out in the middle of the desert. We won't know where the hell you're at. And he's bawling like a baby now. Oh, I'm so sorry. What's going to happen? I said, I don't know, Leon. We're going to just have to wait. So from there, I said, get the hell out of my room and then go to your room and stay there until I call you. I don't want you out for any reason whatsoever. Well, what am I going to eat? I said, call a room service. Well, I don't want to have to pay for room. I said, call a room service. So then I had to call the CEO. By then, he's already heard rumors that Leon decapitated that son of a bitch. Hey, pal, what's going on down there? Why don't you have control of the situation? I'm getting my ass chewed by the CEO over Leon's action. Now I'm getting mad as hell at Leon. So I explained to him the situation. Well, what you gonna do? And I said, well, I got to keep him in a hotel room. We can't do it. We got to refigure what we want to do in the tournament and everything. And he said, well, figure it out and do it, and let's get home and keep the guys out of trouble. So I got my ass chewed by the CEO. So with that, anyway, we're getting ready to go to the matches a little bit later on that night, and I still got Leon locked in the damn room. And so everybody got the call time, as you know, and we start wandering down towards the bus, loading up the bus. By now, all the guys have heard about, what happened and seen replay after replay after replay after replay on TV. And so they're all coming, well, what's going to happen? Well, how's it going to affect us? I said, well, we just got a minor P's and Q's here. Now we can't, go out much, and we got to be good guys. So we all load on the bus. So Leon, he comes down to the lobby of the hotel. Now, he can go to the lobby, but he can't go out the door. And these big old glass doors on this hotel are us loading in. We look at Leon. There's Leon over there with his crying towel, just crying like crazy, waving like a little baby. Bye-bye, guys. I'll see you later. So anyway, we go to the matches. We refigure. We come back, and Leon's waiting for us in the lobby. And he said, can we go to the room and talk? And I said, yes, sir. So we went up the room and talked. Leon told me, he started apologizing and they're trying to kiss my ass, thinking I'm going to get him out of this thing. And he said, I called my attorney in Colorado. He said, I'm in pretty much trouble. And I said, well, your attorney's a pretty bright man, then. So we kind of hashed things out. And I said, Leon, you still can't leave the hotel. I said, the government has said, you leave this hotel, and I swear they'll lock you out. So the next night we go back, and as you know, over in Kuwait, it was right after the storm, so U.S. President's military was there. I had these special ops guys come up to me, about a half dozen of them come up to me at the matches that night. Said, Mr. Brisco, we heard about the problem with Vader. And he can't leave his hotel, and he can't get out of the country. And this is the never told before story before, but it's true. He said, the airman said, I'll tell you what we'll do. We can put him in one of our cargo crates. We can come and get him about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and they ain't gonna question us. We go in and out of the hotel and get him in a box. And they will put him in one of these big ass cargo boxes, put him on a cargo plane in Kuwait, and fly him out to damn France. So he escaped the country. And I said, I don't know if I can do that, guys. Or I'll be in jail, So I called the CEO after, and I told the CEO what the U.S. military had offered us. And he said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm not going to do nothing to leave that big ass in that damn hotel room. He said, don't you dare smuggle him out. And then the whole world all be in trouble over this damn thing. So so I made up my mind, I can't do that. So next day I tell the soldiers, sorry guys, I really appreciate the help, but he's there. So we finished up the tour 5 days, and Leon hadn't left that damn hotel, and he'd worn out the laundry room with his damn crying towel. So now it's getting old. So it's go home day, and everybody's all excited. You get up early, you get up before the sun comes up and go get that morning plane. It's go home time, man. You're all happy. And so I'm up about 5 o'clock, making sure everything's going right, and I get a knock on my door. It's Leon with his bags, and I said, Leon, what are you doing? He said, when can I get on the bus? I said, you can't get on the bus. And now he just, what do you mean? I said, we got to leave you here. He said, you can't leave me here. I don't know what they'll do to me. I said, Leon, they're not going to do anything to you as long as you obey them. And I think we had like 10 days in between us leaving and his trial date, as soon as they would put him on a trial. And I got to give the office and Vince credit. They tried like crazy to keep getting his date moved up so we could all get out of there and he could get out at the same time. But the people in Kuwait wasn't budging. He said, "Would you call Vince? Let me talk to Vince." And so I said, "Yes, I will." So we went in my hotel room, called Vince. "Vince, Leon wants to talk to you." "Oh shit, I don't want to talk to him." I said, "Well, here he is, So, but Vince, I'm sorry, I'm scared. What am I going to do? I don't know what's going to happen to me over here. So we had one of, our crew manager, our tour manager from the UK. So they're really good people, Mickey Brett and all that crew. So he had one guy, I forgot which guy it was, but he's a guy everybody liked. He said, "I'll stay here a couple of extra days with Leon, just so he'll have some company and all that." So we worked it out where we paid for his expenses. He paid there. He stayed there. He stayed there until the day before the trial. And by that time, we had some help for Leon there. So we went to trial. Leon was fine. I think it was like $250,000, and WWE was fine and all that stuff. But what a trip it was with that guy, man. It was exciting to be with Leon. Like I said, I love Leon, but he was a pain in the ass.
Leon was a good guy. I loved Leon. I think most people did, but he was. Leon could be a little bit difficult, you might say. I'll tell you a funny story. I was riding with Leon because Leon always liked me. He treated me like a little brother. Because we both played football, wrestled in Japan. So we're riding down in Florida, in your neck of the woods. Leon has had, when Leon would have too much to drink, he got lovey-dovey. He was he's one of these touchy-feely guys. So it's just me and Leon driving down the road, and he's all lovey-dovey. He's like, "You're a good kid. I like you." All this. So finally he says, "I got to wrestle Undertaker at Royal Rumble. I think it's Royal Rumble." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, I think I'm going to have to put him over." And I said, "You think?" He said, "But I've got an idea." Now, remember, he's been indulging a little bit. He said, "Do you think I could climb up to the top rope and do a moonsault and Taker catch me and give me the tombstone?" And I said, "Oh, hell yeah." I said, "Taker's a big, strong son of a bitch. He can do that easy." I said, "Leon, here's what you do. Just call it in the ring. Don't tell Taker." So Leon couldn't contain himself. I've got Leon convinced that Taker can catch that 450-pound mastodon and give him the tombstone pile driver. So Leon sits by Taker in the dressing room where we still got a couple shows before SummerSlam or Royal Rumble, whatever it was. And he sits there and he starts telling Taker about this idea. He does this whole big finish. Then he gets up the top rope. He does this big moonsault. Taker catches it midair, gives him the tombstone. The crowd goes wild. Taker never looked at him. Taker looking straight ahead. He reached over and he patted him on the leg and walked out. So Leon looks to me and he says, "What does that mean?" I said, "He loved it. Just call it in the ring." So Taker comes up to me about 2 hours later and he says, "Did you have anything to do with that?" I said, "There's a good chance."
How could he tell, right?
It was great. Leon actually had the last pay-per-view match of Leon as Vader in WWE was with me. He requested that, and he told me before the match, "This is really cool." He said, "Today," he said, "you're going to get the old Vader." He said, "I'm going to come out smoking." He said, "When you beat somebody today, you're going to beat somebody." And he said, "I'm going to leave on the right note," which I always thought was pretty cool.
Well, and I'm going to give devil's due, and I'm going to verify that story because he did come up to us and he said, "It's my last match, and I want to work with that kid Layfield." He said, "I think he got a future, and I want to help him, and so I want to work with him." So you're right on that. He did request you, and he told me that he was going to give the match of his career after that.
He did,
and you guys went out and tore the place
up.
He
had me kick out of his finish, which he didn't hardly let anybody do. I mean, he did everything he could to put me over. I always thought that was one of the coolest things anybody's ever done for me. I always really respected Leon for that. I liked it. I think most guys
I
did.
did too. I mean, he was, he was a big 8 guy, Big 12 or whatever hell it is now. But Leon was the Colorado Big 8, and I was Big 8, and so we got along. And he was I enjoyed his football career, and I always ribbed him bad at him because they beat Tampa to go to the Super Bowl. He played in the Super Bowl. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but Leon was a
He was a great first round draft.
The Super Bowl, but then they beat my Buccaneers to make it to the Super Bowl, and I always used to give him grief about that. But Leon, I mean, what an athlete for 470 pounds, whatever the hell he was. I mean, the guy could move like anybody. He could. I mean, he did things, big guy that you're not supposed to do. And I always respected him for his work. But he was a hard guy to get along with, and not a bad guy, but just
not a bad guy at all. Really a good guy.
Yeah, you remember when he had a heart attack?
Do I ever? I was there. I was in Austin, Texas. Yeah, I do. All he wanted to do was go home. So yeah. I'm sitting in the dressing room with Terry Funk and Colonel Parker, and they're talking about how they're going to go under the stage and get their head blown off and sue Vince McMahon for like $10 billion. This before the company maybe even had gone public. So they're going to make $10 billion. So I'm sitting here listening to Terry Funk and Colonel Parker go over this 1,000 times. Leon's in the dressing room with us. So I thought, well, I'll go check because I'm tagging with Terry that night. I thought I'll go check to see where we are on the card. And I go out there, and there's Leon laying by under the stage. And I thought he'd fallen off the stage. I said, oh, my God, what's wrong with him? And they said, you won't believe it. He was under the stage when the pyro went off. Exactly what Terry Funk and Colonel Parker was talking about. So I went back.
I didn't know that part of the story. That's news to me.
Oh, so yeah. So I go back and get Terry and Colonel. I said, guys, Leon just pulled your gimmick. They go, what are you talking about? I said, he just got his head blown off with the pyro. So we all go down there. We start laughing, and you're going, this isn't funny. Leon's hurt. And no, he's not. All he wanted to do was go home. He hated being on the road. So the next day, we're in the dressing room, and when Leon walks in, everybody starts laughing because they're giving him a hard time about getting his head blown off by the pyro. And that's where he came up with. He goes, guys, you don't understand. When that pyro went off, my heart stopped. And he said, I had to start my own heart.
I had to give myself a heart compression.
So Ron Simmons says, let me get this right. You were dead. And everybody started laughing. Leon goes, I call you. It was great. That's Leon. Leon was the best. He just hated being on the road.
Yeah, he hated being on the road. You could tell it too. I mean, the guy, like I said, he wasn't a bad guy at all. He was just a difficult guy. But I struggle for words to try to have anything bad to say about Leon, except he wasn't the smartest candle and the brightest candle in that box,
Brad Rheingans told me when he went up to train with Brad Rheingans, he was 450-something pound. He was a beast, man, especially when he was younger. He said, what can you do that's special? And Leon got on his hands and walked around the gym on his hands. I mean, he was a heck of an athlete.
He sure was. That's what impressed me so much, But, he can be that heck of an athlete, but that old Paul Orndorff, that old country fighter boy, he put that athlete with his flip-flops right down. I wish that's one place I wish I would have been. I never got the inside of that. I tried to get Orndorff to tell it to me, and he's so damn modest he won't say too much about it.
Leon got strip searched one time. We were in somewhere flying. It was before 9/11. He didn't have his ID. And so literally they started to strip search him. And we kept saying, they're going to find one of Orndorff's flip-flops is what they're going to find.
Yeah. They looked too far up there. He was flying with him, too, was always a pain in the ass. Back then we were on WWE, like you said, we had gone public, and the funds weren't as big as they are now or even got to be. But, we all flew coach tickets, and Leon, every time he'd see me, Leon, hey, can you give me 2 seats? He always wanted 2 seats to fly with. and I was under order, no, you get one seat, lose some weight. And, and he said, well, you got Big Show 2 seats. He said, well, Big Show 6'10" or whatever he is. You're 6'2" and, 300 or 400 pounds. Big Show, he's been here a while and he's earned it. Yeah, but I was a WCW champion. Well, you're in WWE now, so he always bitched and cried. He was a crying guy. He was an emotional guy.
He was. Yeah, he was. He was.
You say anything to him at all that hurt his feelings, and that big old crocodile tears that just come rolling down his cheeks there. You were especially mean to him.
I was not mean to him.
You set up all these ribs with him, and you loved it. And Ron and you would, you guys would rib that poor guy until he just broke down.
Leon had lifts in his shoes, because he was like 6'2", which is tall, tall enough, but he had lifts in his tennis shoes. So one time me and Ron got his one lift out of one shoe, and we put it in Ricky Morton's bag. So Leon had he was walking sideways because he had a lift in one shoe and not. And Ricky came to us, he goes, that big man will kill me. Please don't ever do that to me again. We had a lot of fun with Leon.
Yeah, and like I said, God rest his soul, because he was a good human being, and he struggled there towards the end. We hate to see any brother like that, a brother on the road struggle, and but while he was here on earth, he entertained thousands of people and got to live a dream. He played in Super Bowl, he wrestled WrestleManias. He wrestled Starcades. The guy did everything, as an athlete you could do.
Maybe the best big man of all time. Now, he was he certainly is in the conversation. He was a great big man in wrestling.
Well, he's right there in that conversation. You think about those big guys like that, but and still to this day, you don't see guys that could move as quick as Leon on that side. Probably Brock is as close to being like that as any big guy, but Brock's still lacking 100 pounds to catch up with Leon.
Right. Well, Mr. Brisco, thank you very much. It's Stories with Brisco and Bradshaw. Hopefully your big announcement will actually happen one of these days.
Well, I've been recovering, and the reason I don't have my brace on is the doctor. You notice I hadn't made a quick side turn because it's still painful, but I neglected where I just came from the doctor. You were on me. You were tweeting or text. Where the hell are you, Brisco? Hell, I'm coming home from the doctor. Give me a break, John. And he told me I didn't have to wear my neck brace 24/7, that I could take a couple hours break from it. But I got it right here next to me just in case I need it,
I bet you did.
When I leaned over like that, I felt my neck pop there. That damn viper. You know what? He went dead. He went to John. He attacked me two times in a row. And it took so much training for him to do that. He went and beat Drew McIntyre for the championship, man. So I'm a trainer of champions. So, I think he should send me some residuals from that damn championship belt that he has.
Yeah, good luck with that, Mr. Brisco.
I'll be holding my breath just like I'm holding my breath for that Jim Thorpe jersey.
You're going to get the Jim Thorpe jersey. I'm ordering it tonight.
Okay, well, I left you my address.
You'll have it.